Hey, thanks, Truman. I'm psyched to get started.
And look, I know that many people on this are not cybersecurity people. They're not even network security people, right? You're the networking team. You provision mission critical infrastructure, specifically through DNS, through BlueCat integrity. And while security is important to you, it's not your day-to-day job. But let me tell you why we think it should become part of your day-to-day job. And let me tell you a little bit about some of the really interesting stuff that we're doing to integrate BlueCat with Cisco Umbrella and why we think your colleagues will care about that. So it might be too late, but if not, go grab the guy, network security guy down the hall, grab him, see if he can come join this webinar and learn. And if not, you'll get a recording and you can share it with him or her afterwards. All right, so let me go ahead and jump right into it. What are we talking about today and why is it important? Well, I got to tell you, I am coming to you live from Cisco's global headquarters out in California. It is gorgeous here, and I'm excited because we have spent the last few weeks working diligently with the Cisco product management and business development team to deliver an integration between BlueCat integrity platform and specifically Cisco Umbrella, or what used to be known as Cisco's Open DNS. Why do we want to work with Cisco Umbrella? Well, it's pretty obvious. They have a very large footprint. I'm sure in your organization there's some Cisco equipment, maybe not. That's number one. Number two, they see more of the world's transactions than any other networking company, and they apply those learnings to an unbelievable threat feed that they apply through Cisco Umbrella. They have some wide-ranging capabilities. They have an unbelievable content filtering techniques that you can use and your security team can use to have better control of where people go on the internet and what domains are dangerous and you shouldn't be going to and what you can do about that. They've spent a lot of time and energy and resources building that. We have no intention of building that at BlueCat. We manage your network infrastructure. So it's just a peanut butter and jelly situation where these two products should go hand in hand. So what have we been doing? Well, why don't you come inside with me at Cisco and let's talk a little bit about what we're doing with Cisco Umbrella. In order to do that, I'll stop fooling around with this fancy green screen technology, which I can spend hours of time doing, and jump right into some slides. If you have questions, go to the GoToWebinar Q&A, but we prefer that you join VIP, the Slack group, and ask your questions there because I think your peers and other BlueCat customers can learn from the questions you're asking and the answers we provide. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing with our integration. Here's the agenda I'm going to roll through. Talk a little bit, I already done introductions who I am. I'm going to talk about the visibility challenge that your network security teams or cybersecurity teams have, why that exists, how we're going to solve it. I'm going to go through two specific use cases and give you not a live demonstration, but some screenshots that show you how we solve those use cases. And then we'll go from there. I'll tell you what the next steps are if you're interested in. Now look, if you're an umbrella shop, this totally makes sense for you. If you're not an umbrella shop, I am sure that you have cybersecurity teams that are looking to spend lots of money on threat feed solutions. And we think that Cisco has the best threat feed solution. And so maybe it's something you want to check out. All right, what do we mean by this visibility gap? Well, this is a direct quote that we got from one of the security folks in one of our customer accounts, where this person just said, look, I have no idea who's making these queries. I don't know where it came from. I don't know the device. I don't know the IP address, the MAC address, the person. Sometimes I get to it, sometimes I can't. Why is this a problem? Well, look, context is everything in security. And they have basically three questions every security person wants to know, right? Who is the person that's trying to access a domain that was blocked by Cisco Umbrella? What were they doing specifically? And then why were they trying to do that? And of course that makes sense if you're thinking about people and end user driven devices, but many of those IP addresses that are making north-south DNS queries recursing out to the internet are not people at all. They're applications and services, they're IoT devices. And I think security people want to be able to identify what that device is so they can figure out what type of policies need to be built and enforced. Why does Umbrella have such a challenge with this? Well, if you're a DNS expert, I'm probably telling you something you already know, so I'll make it really quick. All right, number one, the architecture of DNS itself makes it extremely difficult to get the source IP that made the originating query into Umbrella. And so security teams don't have that visibility. They can't see which endpoint was blocked, and so they don't have any context for why it was blocked. The caching effect means that only a small trickle of queries will actually make its way into Umbrella. We look at data that suggests that 90% of queries are actually handled by caching, and so only 10% of the queries actually make their way all the way out to Umbrella to get logged, where you can apply policies. That's a challenge. There are purpose-built devices like IoT, security cameras, sensors, etc., that you can't put the Cisco Umbrella agent on. They don't handle agents, and so those devices aren't covered by Cisco. Right? You can't whitelist those. You can't lock them down. And finally, even if you had Umbrella configured perfectly and all the right policies in place, 60% of network traffic today just happens east-west. It's internal DNS queries, and security teams have no visibility or control over that. And so they can't do things like get to patient zero. They can't see what bad actors there might be inside the network that they want to block, right? You really can't lock down mission critical intellectual property inside the network. Okay, so those are all problems that Cisco Umbrella accounts have. And look, there's a simple way to look at it. Today you have your network clients that go through your internal recursion, then go up to the DMZ to outbound recursion to get to public authoritative, right? You guys know how this works. That's how DNS operates, and it's optimized for low latency and high scale. And so in order to do that, the IP address is dropped as the query makes its way through this recursion path. The source IP gets dropped, right? So while BlueCat, because it's close to the endpoints, especially using our new edge service point, right, which think of as like a client-facing DNS server, while we collect all of the original queries and all of the source IP addresses, by the time that makes its way out through this recursion path to the internet gateway, Umbrella is just seeing the IP address for the internet gateway. And so the policies, frankly, are pretty broad-based and probably a little too restrictive for different groups within the organization that need more nuanced security policies. Well, here's the great thing. If we take our beautiful little edge service point and drop it in the network right at the first hop on the DNS recursion path, well, we can short circuit that whole path and just feed Umbrella with source IPs and all the DNS queries. Everything becomes instantly available to your security teams. All the visibility, all the gaps that they've had suddenly disappear, and they have a flood of context by which to build more nuanced, more intelligent security policies while protecting the organization. So that's essentially what we're doing with this integration. Oh, and don't forget, if you're an Umbrella customer and you're on the security team, now you get to see all the internal queries as well that the edge service point is caching and logging. All right, so simple. I think you probably know that. We'll roll ahead. So what are the problems that we're going to solve? Number one, rapid response to security incidents. Allow your security teams to quickly figure out the endpoints that have been infected, malware that are trying to do bad things, even if they're things like IoT devices, purpose-built instead of user-driven devices. And then secondly, gain this visibility and control, not only of north-south, but east-west DNS traffic. Here's what it looks like. I'm a security person. I'm using Umbrella. This second column is the internal IP address that's been grabbed from Edge and passed immediately to Umbrella, to the Umbrella console. And that, in almost every demonstration I've ever seen Umbrella, that column is empty. Or it's one IP address that represents an internet gateway, which could be hundreds or even thousands of internal IP addresses there mixed up, right? So there's really no nuance. Now, it's easy for me when I have that source IP to create security policies like this one that prevents, say, some, I guess it would be non-productive internal user-driven device from accessing easy ride golf cars. I don't know why people want to buy a golf cart, but in this case, this is a policy that they want to block. It's really easy to set that up. I can create that criteria by sports sites, gaming sites, gambling sites, pornography sites, malware sites, whatever it might be. I could set up these policies to block that north-south query from inside the network. Okay, so that's number one. Now we can see the IP address that was affected and help the security person try and figure out why were they going to this. Sorry, this is a better view. I should have jumped to this so you can see, what this looks like in close-up. You can see all types of destination domains and why they might be blocked or allowed according to internal policies. Okay, here's what it looks like in Edge. This is the Edge client UI. And in this case, let's just zoom in. As you can see, That easyride-golf-cars.com was blocked by Cisco Umbrella. You can see the namespace being referred and the policy Cisco Umbrella malware site. Okay, so that's represented in Edge and in Umbrella. They overlap with one another. They both represent the same information. Okay, great. Use case number 1 is solved. Let's move to use case number 2, right? Monitor internal east-west DNS traffic. This is something Umbrella cannot do, but an Edge service point can do. So again, just zooming in, I can see that Easy Ride Golf Cars, the IP address that tried going to that awesome website to buy a golf cart, which was blocked, has also been doing stuff with internal domains and internal DNS queries that probably should be blocked as well, like going to the finance servers, or it could be the engineering servers, it could be payroll systems, whatever it might be. That is an inappropriate access for this end user device. And so with Edge, you can easily set up a policy to block that. Okay, monitor internal traffic. This IP address would never be able to access the finance server. Okay, internal visibility, internal control, that matches Umbrella. So that's where we started, just those 2 use cases, but there's much more we can do and we plan to do with Cisco Umbrella. Here's a couple things that are on our roadmap. If you have opinions on whether there are more interesting things that should be on a roadmap with our Cisco Umbrella integration, please join VIP Slack group and let's hear your opinion. But really quickly, 1, disable the Umbrella agent when the device comes back onto the corporate network, right? So you don't have to try and manage those agents when people are on the network because DNS can do that job. It can be that first line of defense, not the agent itself. Provide more context around who the user is or groups of using by integrating with Microsoft Active Directory, where a lot of people keep groups to manage policies. And then finally, if you are a large site that's using sophisticated tools like Cisco ICE, you can get something called the security group tag from ICE and apply policies based on those security group tags. Again, think of it as policy-driven security versus random development of individual policies. Okay, so those are 3 things we're considering doing with our Cisco Umbrella integration next. That's why we're having these great conversations here at Cisco Global Headquarters. Again, going back to my first comment when we started this, I totally get it. We have a bunch of people in networking that are on this team, not people that are in security, right? That's who BlueCat talks to, that's who manages BlueCat's products. So what's in it for you besides making the life of your peers in network security easier? Well, actually, it's quite a bit. If you have not checked out what BlueCat Edge can do to help you in your daily job of managing the infrastructure, please contact an account manager or your customer success rep. Just to reinforce, what is a BlueCat Edge service point? Okay, it is a DNS server. That's an image that can be downloaded. Okay, it does caching and forwarding. It applies policies to internal and external traffic if you don't have Umbrella. It logs all that traffic to make compliance easier, so you can access all of the logs and queries. And not only that, share access to all those logs, queries, and internal IP addresses with your security team in a very safe way. And it allows you to do what we call intelligent forwarding using our namespace feature. That means that an edge service point can actually reach out and get an authoritative response from up to 3 different servers before making a decision. Why is that? Why is that interesting? Why is that helpful to you? Well, it enables you to make migrations from one DNS platform to another much easier and safer. It allows you to protect if you're migrating applications and data to the cloud. It allows you to set up routing that protects the user, allows the user to always reach the final destination, even if the first place that BlueCat goes to look is not the current location of that data or application. So it's great for hybrid cloud environments. It allows you to do things like proximity-based steering, right? So, and internet breakout. You can get great analytics and insights from the logs that we send, and it helps you with compliance. Those are all the benefits of an edge service point for networking teams, never mind all the security stuff that you can do with it. Oh, and last, and maybe the most important thing for you who manage integrity products today, you can get the benefits of an edge service point and put it right on the infrastructure you own today. Okay, so this is really new. I'm really excited to tell you about it. But today you can get edge service point and essentially run it as a BDDS image on your integrity infrastructure. Okay, there's some caveats there, but essentially you can run it right on your BlueCat boxes and manage it through the BlueCat Address Manager or BAM. Here's some caveats. You can only put one service point on a BDDS, not multiple ones. Keep that in mind. The Edge Umbrella integration will work just as advertised, just as I walked through. Okay, it gives you all of the functionality of an Edge service point. We're not taking any features away or capabilities. All the policies logging, all the intelligent forward, the intelligent forwarding capabilities I talked about, all of that will operate as advertised. And Anycast, of course, is handled by the BDDS OS. Here's the caveat, okay? Non-edge services on that BDDS are disabled, so you cannot be running DNS and DHCP on that BDDS. It has to be dedicated towards the edge service point today, right? So if you have BDDSs that aren't being used and you want to stick an edge service point on it, you can do that. You just can't also be using it for DNS and DHCP. All right, so how do you get started with this? It's pretty simple. We have a patch that we're actually putting in the customer care portal. So you apply that patch and now you can manage your edge service point right through BAM. Okay, now you probably want to have more questions about how that would work, what the pricing is, and what the implementation look like and everything else. And so what I would say is contact your BlueCat expert. That is either your account manager, and in some cases with some accounts, it's your customer success manager. They can tell you all about our integration with BlueCat Umbrella, how to get started, what implementation looks like, etc. We're excited about this. We think it brings a lot of possibilities to our customers. We are delighted to be partnering with Cisco. We think they're best in class when it comes to security and DNS security, and we're happy to combine efforts with them. So take advantage of this now. Contact your local BlueCat representative, and any feedback on this, any questions, please put it in the Slack channel so I can get to know you and engage with you there, and enjoy the rest of our first ever virtual user group, Adapt 2.0. Thank you.
Hi there. Hey, I'm David Pewes, and I am super excited.
Dave, look, I love the enthusiasm, but right now you're at an 11. Can we bring it down? Dial it down, maybe to a 7, okay?
Okay.
Take 4.
This is a behind-the-scenes look at...
David, are you okay?
I am.
You're still so amped. Let's dial it down, please.
You got to understand, this is something incredible about to happen here, right? The things that we're doing with Cisco Umbrella, our customers have been asking about, and we're able to deliver upon this promise now. This is better than a NASCAR race. I'm telling you. Woo!
Okay, cool. Let's just dial it down. We need to get the message across professionally, okay?
All right. Okay, let me do some breathing exercises. 1 second. Toy boats, toy boats, toy boat. Boy, that's hard. If you do one thing today, you better...
Cut!